More reactions trailed the decision of the APC and its presidential candidate Bola Tinubu in the pairing with Kashim Shettima as the flag bearers of the party, and what this means for the state of the race ahead of 2023. Where is the thought force? And the Lagos PDP governorship candidate Jide Adediran has picked Nigerian Nollywood actor Funke Akindele as his running mate. We'll find out from him the reason behind his choice. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Okimaloye in Abuja. Let's continue with our countdown on the very disturbing state of education in Nigeria and the continued strike action by the Nigerian university lecturers in the federal universities. It's now 54 days since university lecturers in federal universities in the country began an indefinite strike action, keeping students away from the classrooms. The standoff between the federal government and the university lecturers continue, and the students continue to be idle. Nigerians are looking forward to stakeholders getting their acts together to resolve what has become a national embarrassment. We here at Channels Television are keeping tabs on that, especially the development from yesterday and what the president said. Our main focus and our joy will be that those classrooms are reopened and those students are back to classroom for the sake of this country. So much to chew tonight, and as far as we're concerned, as citizens and as the media, it's about Nigeria. Nigeria first. That should be what concerns every Nigerian, isn't it? But is it the focus of every of the political party participating in this election? Tonight, we dissect some of the issues that have been thrown up tonight. Issues of religion, ethnicity. Do they matter in our politics? What influence do they have? Of course, we go to Lagos State, where the politics is getting more interesting. One of the main opposition governorship candidates has picked a Nollywood actress, very influential Nollywood female actor, Funke Akindele. We'll be speaking with the flag bearer on the reasons behind his choice. So with me, everyone, because first and foremost, we check out your political roundup stories.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has vowed to ensure a transparent and credible governorship election in Osun State. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu stated this while addressing a stakeholders meeting in Osogbo, the state capital. He says the commission has listened to stakeholders across board who emphasized transparency, inclusivity and credibility of the election, as well as security and peaceful conduct of the exercise.
It is obvious that the more the commission and other stakeholders work hard to progressively improve the quality of national elections in Nigeria, the more some retrogressive elements undermine the process.
Security is also a major issue discussed at the meeting, and there are promises that all is well catered for.
I also wish to assure that the personnel of the Nigeria Police Force and indeed all other security agencies that have been mobilized to complement the police shall remain impartial.
The Young Progressives Congress APC in Osun State has put forward a string outing today as it staged a mega rally in Osogbo, the state capital, ahead of Saturday's governorship election. The party's presidential candidate, APC governors and National Assembly members stormed the state in support of Governor Gboyega Oyetola's re-election bid. And the Kogi State Governor, Mr. Yahaya Bello, is promising to do everything possible to make life meaningful for the citizens of the state. The governor stated this while inspecting the gully erosion site and the teaching hospital in Ayingba, Dekina local government area of Kogi State. According to him, his administration will touch every nook and cranny in the 21 local government areas before his tenure winds up.
To ensure that we touch people's life in many more positive ways.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Now, more than ever before, we see the politics internal politics of a party becoming a national debate. So a lot of people will say it is a family matter when it concerns the internal workings of their party. But Nigerians are not taking that any longer. Whatever involve your political parties, involve Nigerians. And that seems to be what a lot of people are talking about. The internal workings of your party is our own internal workings, and we're concerned. Nigerians are putting their nose in what is happening in the different political parties. Now, they'll be critical about the choices some of the major political parties are making. And so there have been more reactions trailing the pairing of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as the APC flag bearers for the 2023 presidential race. Elder statesman and national leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Chief Edwin Clark, has been explaining why he is withdrawing his support from the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, as well as the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu. Chief Clark, who addressed members of the Delta Central APC Leaders of Thought at his residence in Abuja, says he is greatly disappointed at the PDP for choosing a presidential candidate from the North, just as he is also against the decision of the APC to have a Muslim ticket. Take a listen to Chief Edwin Clark.
Perhaps if I were to vote and you put only two parties, that's APC and PDP, I will vote for APC. For zoning the presidency to the South, listening to our appeal. PDP, a party we love, disappointed us. But the only thing your party had done that had made me to withdraw my support is its Muslim ticket.
So that's the position of Chief Edwin Clark. Now, so it's not only Chief Edwin Clark that is speaking. Some other elder statesmen are already talking. In fact, faith leaders are already speaking, especially those of the Christian faith. They're speaking up about what the APC have done. Meanwhile, the leader of the Pan-Yoruba socio-political group, Afenifere, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, is not happy. He says he's not changed his stance on what he feels is fair and equitable for Nigeria in 2023, and that, according to Chief Adebanjo, is a precedent of the Southeast extraction. Well, if Chief Clark says South, he swears him, but Chief Adebanjo is now narrowing down. He says a Southeast presidency is what is fair for Nigeria. Chief Adebanjo earlier today was quoted as saying, quote, "It is only Peter Obi that can rule independently without the influence of these criminals in the government. Tinubu will only give continuity to Buhari's incompetence." End of quote. He went further to say, "We know Peter Obi very well. That is why we endorsed him. He will not disappoint Nigerians. Let's put tribal differences apart and vote the right leader in." End of quote. Those are the words of Chief Ayo Adebanjo. Now, in all of the schemes and the scenario playing out, it will be a game of wit, no doubt. The different political parties on the plate will like to outdo each other by way of strategy, by way of politicking, by way of campaign, and speaking and reaching out to Nigerians in different sectors. Now, their choices, either in manner of ethnicity or religion, will also count. It has always counted in Nigeria anyways in our history. And let me remind everyone who is quick to talk about the American politics. The American politics is largely determined by these issues. Ethnicity and race, very important in American politics. Religion, very important in American politics. Ask Donald Trump how that helped him. Ask Hillary Clinton how she lost out in the American election. These are facts. Now, does this issue or do these issues matter in Nigeria's politics? As much as we want to compare the politics of these different countries, or Nigeria and America, we also need to know that it matters in Nigeria and Nigerians are talking about it. Let's get some other views on this matter. I'm being joined by one man who stepped down for Peter Obi in the Labour Party, Professor Pat Utomi. He joins us live in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us.
Great pleasure to be with you.
How do you feel? The man you stepped down for now has gotten a lot of steam behind him. Chiva Yadebanjo has thrown the weight of Afenifere behind him. You're thinking that you made the right choice, isn't it?
I expected this to happen. It was not a wild choice. It was a deliberate thing. Just think of my politics. Look at Nigerian history and look at how I've played. First, ethnicity has mattered very little in my politics. I mean, yes, I came into public view in a broad sense during the Shagari administration. But one of the things that threw me into public consciousness was the June 12 crisis. I'm not a Yoruba man, but I led the charge in many ways during that great struggle in Nigeria with the concerned professionals and all of that. It's because there's a practical sense in my politics for what's right, what's fair, and what advances the common good of all. In looking at the way political parties are structured, again, I'm a social scientist by education and by passion. Understanding in a systematic way man in society is my calling. I have been close to the founding of political parties. I was around since I was very close to Dr. Alex Ekweme. Even as concerned professionals, we had decided not to go into politics in 1998. But I was around with Dr. Ekweme at meetings. So I was there at the founding of the PDP. I was there at the founding when I saw that the PDP was not going to take Nigeria where it should go. I was there at the founding of the APC. And then I saw that that was disaster in the making. And I began to ask myself, why? What's going on? And my social scientist brain, in examining things, came to a simple conclusion. You know, in structural economics, there is a paradigm called the structure, conduct, performance paradigm. Structure, whether it's an industry or whatever, usually affects conduct, the behavior of the players within that space, their values, everything. Depending on how strong or weak the institutions are, they result in outcomes. It became clear to me that the nature of the structure of the APC and the PDP was such that it was about transactions. You give, I take, and it was all really about self. No ability to throw up leadership that sees Nigeria where it's going and works to deliver Nigeria in that direction. It's about who gets what, who shares what. That's why production fell off the shelf and got substituted with sharing. So sharing became so obsessive that many who were sharing did not realize that they were reducing their own possibilities in the sharing because no country has grown rich from sharing, it's grown rich from production. And I can go back through history and look at the experience of Spain when the conquistadores were shipping back gold from Latin America and all of that. And people of Spain were sharing. Their neighbors who were much poorer, Netherlands, Switzerland of this world, invested in their young people to produce. In the end, Spain became a much poorer country than the Netherlands.
Similarly,
so the nature of the
Nigeria
PDP
has been sharing, Ghana has been producing, Cote d'Ivoire has been producing,
Absolutely.
Rwanda has been producing.
That the nature of the PDP and the APC is about sharing, and that guarantees that Nigeria will fail as a country. So some
people will say that that foundation was laid. I mean, when we entered into this,
it came out of military rule. Like, it came out of military rule, but we then hardened it. Nigeria was a producing country in the 50s and 60s. What defined it? We talk about structure and conduct. The structure of Nigeria's federal arrangement in the 50s and early 60s led to conduct, which the American political scientists Robert Melton and Howard Wolpe essentially referred to as a state of national ethnic communities struggling for who will most bring progress to their people. This kind of competitive communalism, as they called it, led to growth spots. So Chobafemi Olo starts an industrial estate in Ikeja. Boom, Okpara follows with Aba and Port Harcourt and Transamadi. The Sadawana follows with Kakuri in Kaduna. that kind of competitive spirit drove the ascendancy of production. When military rule came, soldiers, oil came together, it led to a new culture of transactions of my share, which Richard Joseph calls bureaucratic prebendalism. Constitution became just the way, production fell off this thing. So by the time we got to the new civilian regime of 99, it was a strong part of culture. I was clear in my head that the only way we could make progress is to break this, to disrupt. That's why I began to work on this idea of a third force.
All right. Now, the third force, the big tent, and the idea of shadow cabinet, these are some of the things that you and your friends have been working on. But it looks like it's culminating in the Peter Obi and the obedient
revolution.
Now, is it a revolution?
It's a revolution.
Okay. I mean, if you call it that, I mean, I see it as a rave right now. Whether or not, how much of a revolution it is, will be tested at the poll. The question people will ask is, we see this more on the lips of, or hear it more on the lips of the elites and the middle class and the upper class on social media. How much of the structure on the ground, because that is what matters. The question is that, Professor Otomi, how much of the structure does the Labour Party has, or your friends?
Super structure. Much better than the structures, quote unquote, that the APC and PDP have. You see, the media creates these stereotypes. What is structure? Here is structure for you. The Labour Party, as it currently is built around the labor movement and a college of civil society organizations. What is the labor movement? The Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC have in every state of the federation political commissions. I had the privilege of speaking about 3 months ago in Abuja here to the 36 political commissions of the NLC. If there is structure in Nigeria, that is structure. It has going for it several organizations that have been built essentially all the way to the grassroots. Why people say structure matters is because Nigerian elections are usually based on rigging, and if you don't have a lot of money, which is usually taken from the treasury, and these are people who are committing serious crimes, and Nigeria is allowed to get away with it, take public money to run political parties. But anyway, let's leave that aside for now. The people who then come from being funded from the treasury are present. The small parties don't have anybody, but that has changed. With the structure that we have, I am guaranteeing that on election day, in every polling station in this country, there will be at least 15 people who are standing up for the third force, who are going to be supporting the Labour candidate.
Let me ask now, is Labour Party still planning on merging or working with other political parties?
It's working. It's working with other political parties.
Like what party?
Because of several political parties, you know.
Because I see that other political parties have their own presidential candidates.
They're expected to have.
So, I mean, what form and what shape are you working together?
I mean, people know that their candidates will not make much of an impact. They are part of a collective. We are talking about a college of leaders led by the Labour candidate. And this college of leaders will come from parties, whether they be PRP, APC, so many of them, SDP, all of those are going to work together. I can assure you. I mean,
in what manner? Because I mean, I'm trying to ask practical questions now. So you are trying to convince me that
let me give you a very
there is a structure of, I mean, using the labor union and the members of the labor across the country, giving
using faith organizations, Christian and Muslim. All these are structured.
Those will be tested because the major political parties over the years have built practical political presence.
No, they've built rent networks of people who are bribed from government treasury.
They win elections.
Those people don't live in Nigeria, and they know that the parties have made a mess of Nigeria.
I'm asking this question on behalf of some of your supporters, and those who are not supporting you, who are wondering how you want to play that game or how you want to win election in the first place. What gives you the confidence that the Labour Party or Peter Obi can win election?
Let me tell you what gives me confidence.
Election?
First of all, APC and PDP have run Nigeria down to base. Nigeria technically is bankrupt. Next year, all the borrowings will not help it. It won't be able to pay due amortization on the debt it's gotten into. Secondly, and by the way, the only thing that will get this out is a new confidence in Nigeria that will lead to new investments and the kind of resources that will lead to our beginning to grow again. And the world out there is not ready to give Nigeria a line on the kinds of leadership that we have currently. It'll be looking for something new. So the only hope we have of turning this around is a new kind of leadership that's focused on production, that's focused on the people, because the current transaction arrangement that we have of trading off, you get this ministry, you get that ministry, totally incompetent people go into ministries because they've traded off positions.
So you're, I mean, what are you saying to Nigerians?
What I'm saying to Nigerians,
that Labour Party would defeat APC, PDP?
Absolutely, because Nigerians are not stupid. They realize that Nigeria is at a dead end, that they need new thinking to be able to get out of where Nigeria is.
Let me ask you this question, Prof. And I know that you're a very good friend with Bola Tinubu.
All the candidates are good friends of mine.
No, I know that you have a special friend in Bola Tinubu.
I knew Atiku Abubakar before I knew Bola Tinubu. Since 1982, I wrote the feasibility for Atiku Abubakar's farm, the loan in 1983. So I know all the candidates well, including Senator Kwankwaso. So they're all friends of mine.
Great. Now,
what matters here is the future of Nigeria.
Now, the question now is Bola Tinubu and the appearing of Senator Kashim Shettima.
Okay.
That has generated a lot of controversy. So people will ask the question, what does religion matter anyways? I mean, competency is what matters. What are your thoughts?
Well, competency is what matters, huh? But in any organizational arrangement, people feel more comfortable when they feel that their sentiments are represented in how choice is made. Look, and I hate to keep playing the academic, I go back. The book that defines all of this was written in 1948 by a guy called Thomas Kingsley. The book is titled Representative Bureaucracy. And Kingsley advanced the argument, which is what led us to affirmative action. Nobody has complained loudly. I mean, people are unhappy about the way we've implemented it, but nobody has complained about the concept of federal character. That concept comes from the affirmative action movement, which comes from that writing by Thomas Kingsley, that when a leadership, a bureaucracy, does not have the sentiments of those who constitute those they service in the structure, then it's underperforms relative to the interests of those people. This is why affirmative action came along. So, capacity matters. But if you take a whole population of a country, a significant part of the population of the country, who have this sentiment, which is Christian, and there is a national kind of consensus that it is best for us to make everybody feel welcome. You know, there's a famous saying, which Lyndon Baines Johnson, as President of the United States, is known for, but which Mahathir Mohamad, as Prime Minister of Malaysia, used to galvanize Malaysia. He said, it is better for everybody to be inside the house, pissing out, than for some people to be outside the house, pissing into the house. That house will smell. But if everybody is in the house, they feel represented, Christians, Muslims, and the peeing is going out of the house, that house will be more in order.
What's the consequence of a Muslim ticket in Nigeria of today? If in 1993, it didn't matter, why does it matter in 2023?
You have to bear a number of things in mind, circumstance. First of all, Nigeria has become much more polarized since 1993. Secondly, the personality of Chief MKO Abiola, completely different from those at play today. And I give you a classic example, personal, very personal. In 1991, I think summer of 1991, I arrived in London. I'd been on assignment in the UK. My family was living in London, and one of my daughters was born. And Chief Abiola arrived London on his way to Caracas in Venezuela for the G20 meeting and said he'd like to see me on his return into London. And I said, fine, no problem. He called me from his car and said he would like to see me. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, this afternoon is not good because my daughter is about to be baptized in a church in Bayswater. He said, what church is that? I said, Mary of the Angels or something in Bayswater. He said, I'm going to Paris this evening. Okay, when I come back tomorrow, I'll talk with you. And I got up to read the lesson in this Catholic church. In the middle of the church was Chief MK Abiola sitting there. So there's a complete difference in the personality of Chief MK Abiola and the people who have played politics of division with religion in the last. So you have to bear that in mind when you consider that.
So, I mean, for today's Nigeria, a Muslim ticket will not fly. Is that what you're saying?
I don't want to talk about what will fly or not fly, but I'm saying as a social scientist who studied these things, that it will put off. You're talking about Trump and all of that. You should go and read a couple of books that have been written about this. Two Harvard professors, Levitsky and Ziblatt, have written one, Is This How Democracies Die? Or Is This How Democracy Dies? A Cambridge professor, David Runciman, has written of a very similar title. I think is This How Democracies End? Something similar. And they essentially talk about the Trump phenomenon. Even more important, a read on that subject. To work out of Harvard Center for Moral Cognition, Joshua Green, who's the director, has written a book titled Moral Tribes, Emotion, Reason, and the Gap Between Them and Us. Donald Trump played very assiduously, very smartly, but unfortunately for the American democratic system, emotions over reason. Mm-hmm. And again, sorry, as an academic, I will go back. One of the best conversations around democracy is offered by the German philosopher Jürgen Habermas. And Habermas essentially describes modernity and democracy as rational public conversation. Donald Trump stood rational conversation on its head in creating an emotional context of an America and damaged American democracy significantly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a model you want to begin to recommend to Nigerians.
All right, Prof, let me pause it for a moment because we have our eyes on what is happening in other parts of Abuja, where the presidential candidate of the ADC has climbed to the podium in a live event where he's addressing the nation, Mr. Dumebi Kachiku. I'd like to take some moments to listen to Dumebi Kachiku.
My party chairman, Ralph Wonsu, members of the BOT present here, members of the NWC, members of NEC. Good evening, everybody. Dear Nigerians, good evening. The party chairman has summoned this emergency NEC meeting for one purpose, because of the issues that we have witnessed in Nigeria in the last couple of weeks. When he intimidated me with the idea of having this meeting today on a public holiday and having to ask all of you who are here to leave your homes and come out today, I need to only take the kind of sacrifice for ADC members. Only ADC members can make this kind of sacrifice. I know people who left Kanu, Yobe, Sokoto, Kebbi early this morning, and they were just informed yesterday. So I welcome all of you. I thank you for coming out today. My dear Nigerians, the 5th of July 2022 was a watershed moment in our nation's history. Not only was our president's advance team attacked and some killed, but a medium security prison in our capital city was attacked by Islamic State West Africa province.
ISWAP, a breakaway faction of Boko Haram. According to government officials, 879 detainees escaped, and among them, 68 Boko Haram members, some of whom had been involved in previous bombing campaigns. What were known terrorists doing in a medium security jail? This is one of the questions begging for answers as Nigerian people reel from one attack after the other. This was the fourth prison break in the last year, and a week before this, about 40 security personnel were killed while providing security to Chinese miners. 40 worshippers were killed in a church in Owo, and 90 killed in Zamfara State, all in the last 1 month. A few months ago, a train was attacked in Kaduna, scores killed, and hundreds kidnapped. Under the Buhari administration, Nigeria has witnessed unprecedented calamity, second only to the Nigerian Civil War. From Taraba, Kogi, Niger, Abuja, Katsina, Zamfara, Borno, Sokoto, Kaduna, Ondo, Imo, Anambra, tales of woe. The streets of Nigeria flows with the blood of the innocent. Many a mother is weeping, many a wife in sorrow, many families left to mourn quietly and helplessly. In all this, no one has lost his or her job. No minister, no national security advisor or president has resigned. The shame of our nation. Who did this to us? We reduce the dead to nomenclature, such as scores killed, dozens killed, hundreds killed. Don't we know they have names? They had dreams, ambitions, aspirations. They had loved ones. What needs to happen before we know Nigeria is a failed state? Who needs to die? Again, which school needs to be attacked? Who needs to be kidnapped before we realize that this administration has nothing more to offer? Beyond the killings, and kidnappings, we also have to contend with a failed economy. Tens of millions unemployed and underemployed. Yahoo and the trade in human parts are now accepted as industries in our nation. The naira is 612 to the dollar today. Our farms are untended as terrorists rape, maim, and kill our farmers while our government looks the other way. 5 months of fuel scarcity in some cities like Abuja. Diesel at an all-time high of 800 naira a litre, and the middle class, who are the engine room of every society, just wiped out overnight. Our children are at home as governments and asked to fritter away their future. I can spend the next 24 hours talking about the failures of this government, but they are all too familiar to us all. How did we get here? How did we let our nation descend to this abysmal level?
That is the speech from the ADC presidential candidate, Mr. Dumebi Kachuku. You can watch the full length of that conversation at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. But we'll continue the program and our final moment with Professor Paul Tutomi. Prof, let's continue. Let's conclude in this way. We need to go on break and take on our next guest. I'd like to show you what some members of the APC in the North, and these are Christian leaders, and this state a communique after their meeting yesterday, they've released and speaking out against the position of the presidential candidate, and of course, the pairing of Bola Tinubu and Shetima. What is the implication of this sort of thing, the Muslim ticket, for Nigeria and going forward? Can this shape the kind of politics or the kind of governance that we're looking forward to in Nigeria?
Again, we've talked about government or politics being about consensus building. Nigeria is trapped where it is because we don't have elite consensus. It's important for us to create elite consensus on our economy, on what is accepted in social behavior. This is what eventually leads any society to making progress. That choices are made that deepen cleavages rather than bring us closer together is regrettable. But those who have made the choices are the ones who have the obligation to explaining why they make those choices. What I can say is that this is going to perhaps do something that most people don't quite often refer to. The fact that northern Nigeria is not a monolith. Okay, I can tell you a great statesman now of blessed memory, great statesman of northern origin, Fulani, I don't know if it's proper to mention his name now, said to me before he passed away about a year ago, he said, you Southerners don't understand why we are so fastidious in the North about Nigerian unity. He says, in the South, you can trace a Yoruba nation. It's there, you can see it clearly. You can trace an Igbo nation. You can even trace an Ijaw nation, and so on and so forth. He says, in northern Nigeria, it's not like that. He says, of the 19 northern states, I'm quoting him, only 5 have contiguous populations that can live together. The rest of them is war without end. There are many ethnic minorities in northern Nigeria. There has been an umbrella that has kind of strung things slightly together. Once we go the way that some people are unfortunately going, the pressure to break that up will be very obvious.
Right.
And you'll see it in voting patterns, which might not be good ultimately for Nigeria's
Prof,
stability.
we'll have to anchor here, but thank you so much, Prof. But we need to get you back because you're talking about shadow cabinet and how this big tent.
Yes, it's particularly important that we are, reconstituting the shadow cabinet and having specific assignments to show Nigerians what the government can do outside of power.
All right. I wish you and your friends the very best, and may the best man win for the interest of Nigeria.
Nigeria is what matters.
Absolutely. I don't care what anybody thinks. What matters to me, and most of those who have Nigeria at heart, is Nigeria, Nigeria, and Nigeria. Thanks so much, Professor Patitoni.
Great pleasure.
We'll take a break, everyone. And when we return, Jide Adediran, the Lagos PDP governorship candidate, will be joining me on the program to speak about his choice of Nollywood actress Funke Akindele, who is made the running mate. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We'll talk about the politics of Lagos State now. The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Lagos State, Mr. Olajide Adediran, has announced popular Nigerian actress Funke Akindele as his running mate for the 2023 general elections. Adediran, fondly called Jandor, announced the Lagos-born actress today as the duo staged a rally alongside supporters across the streets in the Ikorodu area of the state. Jandor, who also announced the choice of Akindele as a PDP deputy governorship candidate in a series of tweets earlier, urged the residents of Lagos to work with them. I'm now being joined by the Lagos PDP governorship candidate, Mr. Olajide Adediran, is live for us in our Lagos studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Adediran, for your time tonight. Let's get to it. First and foremost, it's not only in Nigeria that we're seeing actresses who are throwing their hat in the ring. The governor of, I think, California in the United States, an actor himself, even the president of Ukraine, a comedian. Why the choice of Funke Akindele?
All right, thank you very much, Sheung. And I want to thank Lagosians for entrusting, especially members of the PDP, for entrusting me with the flag of our party. I would promise to fly it high. My running mate, people call her an actress. But I would say I picked a lawyer who found passion in filmmaking. And I'll give you, a lot of people thought that if you're acting, you're a filmmaker. No, a filmmaker is somebody who directs, somebody who writes scripts, somebody who produces, someone who designs sets, and somebody who can identify resources to deploy in the entire project, what you call a filmmaking. So first and foremost, my running mate, beyond an actress, she's a filmmaker who has grown a business from zero to something. Somebody who have been an employer of labor for the past 14 years. Someone who has won an award in a chosen career over and over again. And somebody who's got huge followership, you know, in the process of what she's been doing over the years. And a Kurudu-born diva, like I put it, who I believe is going to add value to my candidacy, to the ticket I've got, because after the internal process of primary election, the next is the general election. So when I got this news about, okay, why the choice of Funke Akindele, a lot of people have forgotten that the purpose upon which a political party is first established is to win an election. And everybody that can add value to you winning an election is what you use. Don't forget, for the past 7 years, we have built foot soldiers at the grassroots level. And my running mate is a brand that connects with both the grassroots and my people at the cyberspace. So combination of that forces already spelled doom for Lagos APC in 2023. So I've chosen somebody that I know that alongside me will bring what we term the breath of fresh air to the state of Lagos. I'm 44. My running mate is 44. If we get to office, if we make a law today, we won't forget in another 2 months that we have made that law, you know, who do the needful. And in Lagos, we found ourselves, what we have is an unusual situation. And if you have an unusual situation, it requires an unusual solution. And this is why we have presented to Lagosians what you can call a clearer departure from the norm. This is something fresh, something that you have not seen. And we are telling ourselves, can we do something else in the state of Lagos? Can we at least elect a governor and deputy that won't require second-level approval before they can promptly attend to the people of Lagos? The ones that are not tied to the apron string of an individual. This is what we represent. Somebody, because Lagos needs an independent governor, not the one that will be following anybody up and about. We want that. And for us, both of us, nobody asked us to come and run. We spoke to each other. We developed that conviction, and today we are here because of the belief we first have in ourselves and what we need to do in the state of Lagos.
Give us a sense of the pairing and what informed it. That's going to be a further explanation from you. You are a Muslim. She is a Christian. She is from Ikorodu. And perhaps you would have thought that that pairing will give you a win and a joker that will win the race for you. Geographically, religion-wise, what were you thinking? Do you have a spread that is fair and balanced for Lagosians?
Absolutely. I am from Lagos West, you know, senatorial district of Lagos, which controls about 10 local government from the 20. She's from Lagos East, you know, which also controls about 5 local governments of the state. And from my own senatorial district, is a district that's only produced, where if we want to consider the person that came 1999, say, okay, whatever it is, you can still consider him as one of us. It's the only division that has produced governor once, you know, and I'm from division that has never produced governor before. So in Lagos, we have 5 divisions. I'm from Badagry divisions. She's from Ikorodu divisions. And we have Ekpe divisions. See, these 3 divisions are the 3 traditional divisions from the 5 divisions. So our choice, aside from Ikeja and Lagos Island, our choice is to see how we can bring these divisions together. Before now, if you want to share anything in Lagos, we share it via the division. Okay? That is why we say, okay, if you put something down, the first 5 of whatever it is in the state of Lagos belong to those that you can call the true owners of the land. Of course, with due respect to other, those that we call visitors that are part of us today, of course, we accommodate them in what we do. But a situation whereby we have the first five not having us in consideration, and we think first thing first is how do we bring Lagos back and give it back to the people of Lagos. Either you're a resident or you're a citizen of Lagos, we want to return Lagos back to the people of Lagos. We want a Lagos that will work for everybody. We want a Lagos that is wealthy in truth, not the one that is wealthy only on paper. This is what our candidacy is going to bring.
All right, let me quickly ask you, those who are, I would say, for example, Funke Akindele as a person, as a social equity in the Nollywood industry that has been tested, considering our works. For example, Jennifer has become a phenomenon as far as the entertainment industry is concerned. She's run that television series for several months and years in Nigeria here and gotten a lot of viewership. She's a diva in the entertainment industry, as you called her. Social equity-wise, she's been tested. But politically, the equity that you would need to win election has to be taken, the voting equity. The question is whether or not you have been tested. And if you come up with that pairing, you'll be up against the likes of Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the APC, who has run for election once and won an election. And you will be running against someone who has been tested, not only politically, but voting-wise. How do you hope to stand against such, well, you call it a tested political force?
All right, Sheung, thank you very much. Don't forget that Lagos for Lagos movement is a movement that we started 7 years ago within the APC. And we're able to do something that has never been done before in the history of the state of Lagos. We committed that unpardonable sin that nobody dare commit in APC. And what was that sin? The sin of us having a structure of our own while in APC. And we did not just, put up that structure. We were able to create that necessary and long overdue implosion within that party. And we found home in PDP today, who has been winning, who has been doing about 30 to 35% every election cycle, now with us bringing that fraction from APC into PDP, you see that without anything at all, we have given them that 20% to cross the threshold of winning in 2023. Now, me, as a grassroots politician who has grown huge followership, I'm sure you can attest to it, you've seen it when we moved, we've seen our activities, and now combining that forces with somebody who has huge control of the cyberspace. Like I said, this is already game over for the government that have overstayed their welcome in the state of Lagos for 2 decades. So they know it, and that is why since the day the news of Funke being my running mate filtered, they've been doing everything humanly possible to frustrate, the process that will inform me nominating her or her accepting it. But what we do is to just sit and laugh over these things because we know what we're doing. We're focused. We're convinced about this. We know what we are up to. We know where to get them, and take Lagos and return back to the people of Lagos. So this is no jokes. I've seen a lot of people saying, are they joking? Are they going to do another movie or something like that? Let them wait for it. Yes, of course, we are cooking another movie. And that movie is for us to take Alausa and install a government that people will call their own, not the one entrusted to them by an individual.
So, Jide, in no doubt and in no way am I underestimating the structure that you have built. But the question I was asking is whether or not that structure has been tested at the polls before. That I do not know whether or not he's been tested. So the question is, do you have the voting backing, or the structure that gives you the confidence of winning? Where will the numbers come for you and your party? Where are your strong areas for Funke Akindele, beyond those who love our movies and those who follow her on social media? is the capacity to win election. In Ikorodu, where she comes from, I know of very strong political forces within the APC that you guys will be up against. And so that's a question I'm asking for your followers and those who are wondering how you are hoping to overcome what has become a political mountain in Lagos State.
Sheung, I'm sure you've been following this movement for the past 7 years. I mean, to the point when we left APC for PDP. And I don't think you need a soothsayer to tell you how much, because it is the understanding of the game that brought me into PDP, not somewhere else, because I know it is structure that wins election. So we brought in some structure from APC where we were to merge with that of PDP where we are currently. And for those who understand this game, you see, they won't even go and attack any other person. That's why they've been attacking Jando, because they know that we have hit them below their belts, at the grassroots. So we said that in our group, we have politicians who understand the nitty-gritty of this game, okay? This we display when we got into PDP. We got into PDP with nothing, but we were able to present ourselves to the members of the party who looked at us with the can-do ability and spirit that we brought into that party and brought into our vision. And before we know it, we claimed the ticket of the party. Today, I'm the candidate of the party, and I'm going to win election for the party for the first time in the state of Lagos. Now, this is no joke, because we know everywhere we turn to at the grassroots, we understand this game very well. We've been to all the villages in Lagos, while we're doing this movement. That is where you win election. Let them come in 2023. You see, and you will see what is going to happen. And I will tell you something. This is like a guerrilla warfare, because you wouldn't even know who is where, who is not even where. A whole lot of Lagos for Lagos people, even within the ruling party, they know. But you can't tell who is where, who is not where. But just wait for it. By March 11th, by 4 p.m., trust me, we would have been declared governor-elect and Funke Akindele deputy governor-elect of Lagos State. Watch it.
By what margin do you hope to win?
When we first threw up this and somebody said, with this pairing, by 11 o'clock in the morning, the incumbent would have lost election. But again, like I said, I won't sit here and give you numbers. My district, where I'm from, has 10 local governments. And from the total number of registered voters in that, we control well over 50% of that, close to 60% in the entire Lagos. So just look at that. And the fact that we have never been given the opportunity, as a matter of fact, we have never picked tickets before, to say, oh, we have a ticket in our hand to run, either for APC or PDP. And now that we have one, come on, Sheung. You're talking to the next governor of Lagos State. Last time I was there, I was an aspirant, and I told you that I'm going to be a candidate of this party. I'm telling you tonight again, I'm going to be governor of Lagos State, by His grace, May 29, 2023, with Funke by my side as deputy governor.
I wish you the very best, Judy Adediran. I mean, this race is going to be a quite very interesting one, either by way of prophecy or by way of faith, or by way of confidence that you have said what you said tonight. I wish you the very best, Judy Adediran, also called Jandor, who picked Funke Akindele as the running mate in Lagos. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
For some of us who have made ourselves a professional journalist from the beginning to the end, I don't see myself doing any other thing apart from this. I just love it. You're looking at the next presenter of this program tomorrow. That's what I can. If other politicians say, you see the next governor, you see the next president. You see the next presenter of this program tomorrow. Tomorrow again, I'll come your way. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Akimbale. Bye for now.